All right, welcome to Live a Life Extension Live. I almost said our podcast name. I get confused sometimes, Dr. Krista.
Okay,
we do so many. By the way, the podcast is called Live Forever. Check it out. Hey, I'm Dr. Mike. That's
Dr. Krista.
We're so happy you could join us today. This is an important topic. Dr. Crystal, this is all about shopping healthy on a budget. And there you are.
Oh, there I am.
There you go. And look, you're in the healthier areas.
That's right. Buy my that's my kale.
That's your kale.
You know, buying the kale. We'll talk about buying it from that area versus
the
buying
packaged
it in
stuff.
The packaged
That's
area.
right. In general, when you're shopping, keep in mind the healthier stuff's going to be on the outside of the store.
Good point.
And a lot of the packaging on the inside, but we know some of that outside stuff is expensive. So hopefully today you're going to learn some tips on how to stay healthy when on a shopping budget. So on today's show, there we go, we're going to talk about eating healthy on a budget, how to shop, and easy swaps / tips, something like that. So before we get into the tips, and we don't want to spend too much time here, but I think it's important. We have to kind of define what we think a healthy diet is, right?
Ooh, that's
now, before
tough,
you say
Dr.
anything,
Mike.
before you say anything,
Okay.
just I'm gonna give you the question. The first thing that comes to your head, what is a healthy diet?
I think it means eating real food. Eating food as close to how nature delivered that food to us as possible.
Live food.
Food that's alive,
Yeah.
food that has enzymes, food that's going to just really nourish the body.
Yeah, I love it. The problem is that stuff's more expensive. But we have some good tips to help you today. By the way, if you have any comments for us about like what you like, how do you shop on a budget? What are some of the swaps, healthy swaps that you make? Let us know in the comments right there, and we can respond to you live on the show. So yeah, I like the idea, and I think it was you that introduced me to the idea of nutrient-dense calories versus the empty calories that a lot of us eat, right?
Right. So many people, when we look at this idea of healthier, I'm on a diet, they're counting calories. And they don't care if that calorie is coming from a donut or that calorie is coming from, an egg, right? They may have similar calorie content.
No, I think the donut's a little higher.
Okay, well, a couple of eggs, right? Okay, so let's think about breakfast, right? A donut or something where you're getting protein, where there's some fat. Yeah. There's some carbs maybe, but there are also some vitamins and there's some minerals and the micronutrients versus the donut that's really just giving you empty calories. That's what
calories.
We're calling.
Yeah, it may satisfy you right then, but we're going to talk a little bit about if you're shopping for a lot of empty calories and you're eating a lot of that, they may be cheaper up front, but there's a problem with that.
Right.
Yeah, and we'll get to that. Now, overall for the healthy diet too, so I like the idea of nutrient calories versus, but you and I talk a lot about the 80-20 rule.
Ooh, we like that 80-20 rule.
Yeah, this is here it is. There's our graphic. So that's a plate.
Picture your plate. Picture your plate from last night. What did you have to eat last night? Did you follow the 80-20 rule?
There it is. Yeah.
All right. So
80% vegetables, 20% protein.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And so what that means that we are making this food that's alive, the food that's coming straight from nature, the main event on that plate.
Yeah.
And that's really when we start thinking about healthy diet.
So growing up, I had 2 different plates. And it depended on whether my great-grandma was in town or not, right? So the average plate I had pretty much every night for dinner was reversed. You could say 80% meat, 20% vegetables, and the vegetables were always potatoes. And my entire plate looked the same brown color. Everything was the same color.
Oh, no.
That's how I grew. That's what we ate. Now, when my great-grandma came, that's what it was, 80-20, 80% vegetables, and it was full of color because she didn't have that processed stuff, and she always went to the fresh food.
Yeah, so let's make the vegetables the star ingredient. Don't overcook them. We should still keep those vibrant colors.
Yeah, and notice here we're not saying anything about calories, because this show is not really about how many calories you should have, because quite honestly, that's so individual.
Very true.
Right, that's based on
one
age.
person needs is totally different. Your body composition, needs,
exercise,
absolutely.
Yeah, all that kind of stuff. So that's not what this show's about. It's really about making those calories count.
Yeah.
And how do you do that on a budget?
Right.
That's what we're going to get to.
Yes.
Okay. Before we do, a couple of little things. So there's some things out there, little words that people like and they think mean healthy.
Ooh.
Not always true. Let's start with fat-free.
I'm so over fat-free. It's been haunting me all my life. I love you, Mom. I know you're watching.
Uh-oh.
But we were victims of fat-free growing up.
Yeah. Well, and we've talked about this before, Dr. Chris and I have, and it's really from some flawed studies in the 80s that kind of blame fat for everything, right?
Right.
This is when cardiovascular disease was really, really rocketing up. We were trying to find some culprit, and we picked on cholesterol and fat. And the truth is, it's turning out that sugar is probably much more the culprit than ever.
That's it. And often, if you remove the fat, you add in sugar.
Yeah, because you can't. If you're removing a big part of a food source, like whatever you're about to eat,
right.
you have to replace that space with something. And it's usually with bad processed ingredients or just plain old sugar. Yeah. So we're not happy about that.
So another healthy culprit, and that's healthy in quotes, is gluten-free.
Ooh, you're going to get in trouble with this one.
Gluten-free, and you're like, oh yeah, this is healthy. It's gluten-free. Well, unless you have celiac disease.
Right.
You probably, and of course, there are people with non-celiac gluten sensitivities, which is also kind of rare. The gluten-free is not going to be the healthier option because we're stripping that grain of nutrients.
Fiber. You're the fiber.
You know, that's why I have a problem with
Yeah. And again, we're not saying that, listen, you got to talk to your own doctor, and we're not saying that if you really should go gluten-free, go for it. But that doesn't mean everyone around you has to go gluten-free.
Right. And so you're paying the extra money.
Yeah.
For that gluten-free. You're also paying extra money for the organic.
Yeah.
That's another kind of.
I wanted to, there's one more.
Yeah.
This one's really controversial.
Uh-oh.
Because I think you think a little differently on this one than I do.
Okay.
Seed oils. Now, but wait, I have to explain my position because I could already tell Dr. Crystal is getting ready to get on me. I think seed oils, if put to too high of a temperature, have some pro-inflammatory compounds that form and not great for you. But that doesn't mean you can't use some of these seed oils in salads, vinaigrettes. I think it's a heating thing more than it just is the seed oil. Now I know you're gonna take me to school.
We demonize the seed oil, but the bigger picture is about the ratio. It's about making sure you have enough of the healthy fats, enough of the omega-3s to balance the omega-6s. So it's really because you get the omega-6s from the seed oil. So if you're taking,
that's a good point.
If you're taking fish oils, you're eating lots of fatty fish, it's not as much of a problem.
Yeah, that's that 3 to 6 ratio. I think did we do a show? We did shows on this 3 to 6.
A podcast.
A podcast on that ratio, and most Americans are something like 14 to 1, or like 14 omega-6s to 1 omega whatever, and that should be more 3 to 1, 2 to 1, even.
Yes.
Right, stuff like that. So that is a good point. But I think a lot of the fear is it's pro-inflammatory, but I think that's mostly when you really heat those things up. Okay. All right. I just threw that out there. Okay. We're going to move right on to the tips now, because I know you probably want to say more. Let's go on. This is tips for how you can eat healthy, but not break the bank.
Right.
So tip number 1. Now, this is, I think, very important tip. Avoid buying prepackaged food. Now, and it's important when we say prepackaged, we're not just talking the processed boxes and cans. We're talking even about what you see here.
In the produce section.
Yeah. There it is. Look it up there.
It's the cost-saving strategies. It's for the working people who don't want to spend time prepping and chopping and slicing
the prepackaged
and dicing.
stuff. Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
But You're going to pay top dollar.
Well, you're paying not just for the produce in these things. You're paying for the packaging, which is all plastic, by the way, and you're also paying for someone who cut it.
I know.
Right? So let's talk about this. All right. So I'm going to quiz you.
Oh, this is fun. I like quizzes.
So we have. Can we do the big shot? So I can. Yeah. So we have the prepackaged onions, prepackaged tomato. They both cost about the same, and then we have the onion and the tomato by itself, and these kind of both cost the same.
Okay.
Okay. Tell me what you think the cost of the prepackaged tomato and onion were.
I'm thinking about $2.50.
$2.50. That's about
$2.50.
That's not close.
Not close.
It was almost $4 for both of them.
No way.
The total price for this and that was about $8. Yeah.
Are these organic?
I just picked it right up.
Okay.
Yeah, it didn't say it's organic. No, that's the price. Now, what do you think the price of buying it, the tomato itself, and you chop it?
So I'm thinking produce is a little more expensive, maybe about $1.50.
That's pretty close.
$1.50.
That's pretty close. I think it was like about $1.40, $1.35, something like that. So imagine the difference. Take it home, cut it yourself, and you're saving a lot of money. And listen, I like cutting produce and stuff. I like getting in there, and it's therapeutic.
I put on my music. It's my mommy time. I'm in the kitchen, put my headphones in.
You're probably dancing at the same time.
Oh, yes, but probably
Be
not.
Be careful when you're cutting it. Woo! That knife's going up.
Might not be the safest thing when I get going with my music.
Yeah.
But yes, it's you have to turn it into something fun because I mean it's not the greatest thing.
I enjoy it. I really do because I watch a lot of the chefy stuff, and I like to try to get as good as they are in the cutting of it. I'm pretty good at cutting an onion now.
Yeah, so that's a great way to save.
One more package thing.
Okay.
This is what a common snack this is, right?
I know.
Right?
I purchased this before.
Yeah, and this is basically for one person. You might maybe for 2 kids. I don't know, whatever. But that's basically one snack, right?
Mm-hmm.
How much do you think this thing cost?
So that's about $5.
That was $5.
Yeah.
Whereas if you bought a whole thing of celery separately, a whole thing of carrots separately, a little block of cheddar cheese, and you cut it up yourself. So the price of the celery plus the carrots plus the cheese was a total of $5, the same price of that. But you're going to get about 7, 8, 9 snacks.
Right, because this is just about one celery
That's about
stalk.
one, and those celery collections have like 8, 9 celery stalks. So you're going to get so many more if you. So what are we trying to say? Get a good chef knife. And do some of your own cutting.
Do some of it yourself. And so obviously you have to, it's the packaging. It's all nice and neat and cute, but you can buy some of the washable storage things with the little sections so that you can recreate this for your family, for your kids, for yourself. And yes,
great
you can
for
save
school,
a lot of money
for your
there.
kids.
Mm-hmm.
So I'm sure now that you know this, you're going to do it yourself and dance and sing in the kitchen when you're yourself. All right, let's move on to tip number 2. This is your favorite one. I think it's your favorite. Tip number 2.
Okay.
It's right there.
Oh.
You like this one. You said you wanted to talk about this one. Wait, hello. She's thinking about eating this.
I'm telling you, I'm thinking about all the things that I buy like this that I need to just cut back on.
Right.
The package applesauces, the package yogurts, the package cottage cheese, the package hummus and chips. I'm just
bring it down. Bring it down. Let's go to tip number 2.
Plant protein versus meat.
Yeah. What's cheaper?
It's so much cheaper to add in some plant protein. Those are the beans. Those are the chickpeas. If you want to make a wrap, make a chickpea wrap or a hummus
Sounds
wrap.
Pretty good. That
I think we're having that tonight.
That sounds really good, actually. Yeah.
Chickpea sandwiches.
And it's best to buy those beans and legume stuff. We want to buy them in the dried form, right?
Right.
And then do it yourself.
Buy them in bulk, and then you may have to soak them, of course, but soak them and cook them, and it's so much cheaper. You can control the amount of salt. You can add in a few extra seasonings that you may like from your pantry, like
What do you do?
because you can be creative.
Yeah.
It allows you more opportunity to just kind of make them and control those ingredients.
Yeah, and when you buy them in the dried form too, you don't have to use the whole package. They'll, you know how long they'll stay fine? Yeah, in that dried form?
They keep forever.
Forever. I mean, so you can do just a little, you can serve it out and get a lot more serving than you would if you were to buy everything all ready to go. So I like that one as well. Now, I like number 3 because I like meat.
Dr. Mike had to add this in, and it's okay.
It was a good idea. You said it was a good idea.
It really was.
Okay, so if you are going to buy meat, which most people are going to, buy the lesser cuts and tenderize them. It's really
you have to go for the filet mignon.
Well, the filet, one little 6 ounce of filet is, it depends on where you get it, $18, $20, $21, something like that. It is good.
$30 at a restaurant.
$30 at a restaurant, right? But if you can go with like top round, top sirloin, stuff like that, all you got to do is either marinate it for a couple hours, or even actually overnight is always better, or you can just pound it out. And then you cook it the way you want to cook it. Listen, I'm not going to tell you it's as tender as the filet is, but it's pretty darn close. And it's about half the price of that filet.
All right.
Good. That's a good tip, Dr.
That's
Krista.
a good tip. How about this, Dr. Mike?
What?
Don't waste your money on empty calories.
I know.
If you're trying to shop on a budget, and we're going to talk about a tip, but I'm going to add it in early. Don't go hungry. Don't go to the store hungry because you will buy the chips.
The easy stuff.
And the little ice creams and all of the foods that's giving you empty calories.
Right. Yeah. And
make it count.
I think the problem is the empty calorie stuff, Dr. Crystal, is often cheap. Right? And so if people are thinking, well, if I got to shop on a budget, well, I'm just going to go to the empty calorie stuff. But here's the problem. This is my little opinion.
Okay.
The empty calories aren't as satisfying, which means you're going to have to eat more empty calories a couple hours later.
So it seems cheaper.
But you're going to have to buy more.
But you're eating more.
Yeah. And so when you really look at the cost of all that, it's not that much cheaper.
Here's another idea, Dr. Mike. Because it's not healthy for you, there's this idea of pay now or pay later in doctor's bills.
Yeah, right.
And co-pays when you're going to the doctor. So, that you kind of look at that as well.
Yeah. What about tip number 5? And we're asking this more as a question, right? Is organic worth it?
I want to know from the chat.
Yeah, let us know what's going on. Yeah, give us your comments and stuff like that. But I want to, okay. Is it worth it to eat organic? I think I'm going to answer this 2 ways.
Okay.
Let's see what you think.
All right.
Number 1, the straight answer is it's probably best to go organic. That's going to be your fresher, good stuff, right? No pet, whatever. However, if you can't buy organic, please buy your fruits and vegetables anyways. It's better to get the fruits and vegetables and a little pesticide than no fruits and vegetables.
Very true.
Yeah.
And so all you have to do is wash your veggies properly.
Wash them good.
Maybe wash them even with a little bit of vinegar.
Oh, yeah,
that's good. In the rinse water.
Yeah.
And those are some of the tricks, right?
Yeah.
To help to remove some of that pesticide residue. But I have a problem with the people that's pushing like it has to be organic.
Yeah.
It's
not helpful.
Don't buy it.
It's not
helpful.
Yeah.
But we do have a helpful list.
Yep. It's coming up.
The Clean 15 is what we call it.
15.
So if you're making this decision in the store and you're saying, okay, do I need to buy this?
Yeah.
Is the organic worth it? This is a nice checklist.
Yeah. I like all of them on there.
Don't bother with our avocados. These are items with the lowest pesticide particles or residue. Sweet potato, asparagus, papaya, onions,
mushrooms,
kiwi, cabbage, which was surprising to me, carrots. So these are the foods that don't bother.
Don't bother about organic.
Spending that extra, your extra hard-earned money.
But I still think all like the list on what is it called? The Dirty 10 or something?
The dirty dozen.
But those Dirty Dozen are good for you.
I know.
So I wouldn't, maybe you eat this list more, but don't be too scared of the dirty. I mean, it's good nutrient dense food.
Just give it an extra wash.
All right, I like that. Good job there. All right, quick things on how to save then overall. This is a big one for me. I have to do this.
Okay.
When I don't, I eat unhealthy and I spend a lot of money.
Okay.
I mean this. I'm excited. I'm
waiting.
I have to meal plan.
You do?
I have to meal plan. I have to lay out what I'm eating breakfast, lunch, and dinner. And
I did not know this.
And I have to shop for that. Now, because I don't like doing it, I only do it for me. I do it for a couple days. I have certain days I shop.
Okay.
So I'm not doing it for a whole week. That's too much thinking. I can't meal plan 5 days ahead. So I break up my shopping a couple times for the week, and I only have to meal plan for 2 or 3 days.
Okay.
But I have to do it. If I don't do it, it's all over the place.
Wow, I did not know that about you. Now,
it's not something I would normally do. I'm not a list person. I'm not. You do stuff like that.
I have to meal plan. I do loosely. I meal plan because I have to. I don't have that much time. And with working, and then the kids have to eat.
A husband.
Right. And I refuse to leave work and not know what we're cooking for dinner.
Yeah.
What we're having, because then that leads to eating out.
Pizza.
And that's just not, it's expensive, and there aren't many places to find really good healthy meals out.
I remember growing up, I could always remember this. I would always get excited because one of the first questions kids ask moms in the morning, what's for dinner when we get home? Like, that's so common, right?
Yes.
And I remember whenever my mom would say something like, oh, I don't know yet, I got excited because you know what I knew was going to happen? Pizza was coming that night. Yeah. So I was always very excited about that. All right, that's good.
Yeah, look for sales online.
Absolutely. Very simple.
Always good. And I always say, obviously, don't shop hungry and look in your pantry, kind of get an idea of what you need, because you don't want to be in the store saying, do I need this? And now you're buying things that you already have at home.
Yeah. And I guess my dad was a huge couponer. I don't think I've ever used a coupon in my life at a grocery store.
I have.
I know. I'm not saying that like I'm a proud. I should probably start looking.
You should. And it all comes back to my kids. Growing up, that was the fun. I have vivid memories every weekend cutting the coupons out. That was my thing. Yeah. And so you can make it as something fun for the kids to do.
Listen, that's true. But don't be like my dad, who would use a coupon and buy something even though we didn't need it. That's not helping you buy on a budget. We had more toilet paper for a whole army.
I don't know, Dr. Mike. I'm of the opinion, if you see it on sale, take advantage of the sale.
Yeah. And when you go to grocery stores, they normally they have those papers right there for you.
They do.
You could shop with them, and you could see what's on there. Okay, I got to start looking at doing that. How about this? Skip the natural food stores.
Oh yes. Oh my goodness.
I mean, I hate to say it. I mean, I know because they're so cool looking and they got all the good stuff, right? I mean, it's kind of, you get in there and you get in this groove. Oh, I'm gonna be healthy. Too expensive in those stores.
Overpriced. And I have to say it, some of the supermarkets the large chains, the prices are so much cheaper.
Yeah, well, they're larger. They have more. They sell in more volume, so they can drop prices and all that.
Right.
Kind of stuff.
So only go to those natural food stores if you're looking for specialty items.
A very specific thing.
You can only find there.
Good point. Very good point.
For unique dietary preferences, but. Yeah. Everything else.
Meats, cheeses, so expensive at those places. How about going to farmers market?
Oh, yes.
Yeah, right? Those are usually pretty good prices.
And the farmers markets first of all, they are less expensive, better for the environment because you're eating local, you're supporting your local community. So, check. And then if you have the SNAP card, they offer incentives. So some of them, it's like they double the dollar.
Oh, I didn't even know that.
So those are also
That's
ways
good.
to save. Yeah. So
Wow.
$1 equals $2 at the farmer's market.
And it's fun. They're usually like you can go on Saturdays and Sundays, bring the kids. You can just bring your dog and just you're outside.
Yeah.
Hey, and at farmers markets, often they will deal with you. Like wheel and deal. Like you can, let's say they're selling a few carrots for it. You can say, well, I'll buy 8 carrots if you give me that. They do. They'll deal with you. You're not gonna get that at a grocery store.
Not at all. There are also places called U-Picks.
Yeah.
Have you heard of those?
U-Picks? No, you had mentioned this before.
They have some here in South Florida where you can go to the farm and you pick your own produce, and it's even cheaper.
Yeah, you're taking all you're the labor.
Right.
Your time is the labor.
Yeah, it's they give you this bucket and
you just pick.
You just fill up the bucket and
you pay for the bucket. Yeah, well, that's actually pretty cool. Yeah. I don't know if I'll ever do that, but that's pretty cool.
Oh, it's fun.
See, that would be more of an occasional fun thing to do, especially at kids, right? I think I see that with kids for sure. Okay, anything else? Oh, please stop buying bottled water. Goodness. It's so expensive.
And there's not really anything special about it.
It's not, and it's so
especially
expensive.
If it's spring water.
Yeah, I was just in an airport recently. Do you know how much bottled water at the airport?
$8.
It's like, so you're better off buying like things that have the filter in it already. Use the basic tap water. And I use a Brita filter, a pitcher.
Yes,
that's how I do it. I don't buy bottled water on normally at all.
Right. Yeah, we invested in a filter on the sink, so it comes out of the tap.
Filter. You had an interesting stat here about what is that?
Oh yeah, so we're just talking about bottled water and the microplastics.
Yeah.
That's becoming an environmental concern. You're finding them even in the fish, in the oceans. But a study that evaluated water from 259 bottles found microplastic contamination in 93% of the samples.
That's scary. And those plastics do cause problems, and they don't go away.
They don't.
Right? I mean, we're actually finding, you can measure these plastics in people's serum, like their blood serum, and they're there.
Yeah. Floating
around. That's not good stuff. So there you go. There's some tips for you, some good swaps for you for eating healthy on a diet. At the end of the day, healthy, live, fresh food. We know that's expensive, but there's ways to think about it where you can save money. Watch the packaged stuff, prepackaged stuff. Look at buying the whole thing yourself. Get a good chef knife. Lesser cuts of meat. You tenderize them. I think that's a good summary of kind of what we talked about, right?
I think so.
We have a nice article on this. lifeextension.com/budget, where you can, there's a lot more there than what we covered here today. That's lifeextension.com/budget. So I want to thank you for joining us today. Don't forget we go live every Wednesday at 12 p.m. Hit that interested button. That way it'll tell you when we're about to go live, right? Yeah,
you'll get the notification.
Yeah, every Wednesday at 12 noon. I'm Dr. Mike. That's Dr. Crystal. We'll see you next time.